Alberta is seeing its worst bird flu season in years. Before 2022, it was quite rare for poultry farms in Canada to have an outbreak of avian influenza. Scott Olson is currently cleaning out his barn after his turkeys were infected this fall. This is the third time he's been through this. We've reached him this morning at his turkey farm in Wetaskiwin. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this. So, how did you realize your turkeys had avian influenza again this year?
Well, I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm getting used to it, but you'll walk into a barn and you'll know right away because you see a big spike in mortality. You might have one or two dead birds on an average day. You'll walk in and when you see 40 or 50, you know something's terribly wrong.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is a scene to walk into and a clear indicator. So, I mean, I'm really struck by the fact that this is your third time going through this. What has that been like going through this three times?
Well, in the third time here, I think we're gaining experience. So it's getting a little easier, but I don't want to make it sound that it's easy. But like I said, with the experience gained, I think we know what's in front of us and what hoops we have to jump through and how to get cleaned up the right ways and fast ways. So every time we go through it, we're just gaining a little bit more knowledge to get cleaned up from the virus and move forward.
Yeah, well, I'm half scared to ask this because it's quite a thing to go through. But what have you learned?
Well, we work very closely with CFIA. They've been good with us, and it's essentially we're gaining experience on the different levels of how we have to clean up. So the first time we went through it in 2022, everything was brand new to our farm. So once we've gained that experience in 2022, we can kind of just get going on the process faster. So for an example, like composting, we have to do a composting procedure to essentially kill the virus in the barn. So when it's new to you, you have to like research it, and CFA was good with their teams to kind of inform me on how it's done. But once I've done it a few times now, I kind of know the process. So I kind of mentioned just getting faster with the process and knowing the steps of the process to essentially get cleaned up faster.
Yeah, and just to fill in, the CFIA is the Canadian Food Inspection Agency who's be working closely with you through an experience like this. What do you know about why Canadian poultry farmers are seeing more bird flu outbreaks in the last few years?
I think it's trending how Europe's been in the last 10 years. It's hard to say because 2022 Alberta had a big spike, and that was, I want to say, our first time dealing with it. And then last year was relatively quiet. And this year, again, we're seeing a big spike in the fall. Our spring was okay, but the fall here seems to be a problem. It comes and goes with the migratory birds we found. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been seeing in Alberta here.
What are the steps you have to take? Like when you walk in and you see, a high level of mortality that tells you, okay, the flock is unwell. Like what are then the steps you have to take?
So first off, we have to get we take birds up to our provincial vet, and they'll test for the avian influenza. And once you test positive, then there's different steps. So first we have to euthanize everything on farm just to stamp out the virus. And then from there on, like I mentioned, the composting. We do composting on our farm inside the barns, and that essentially kills the virus. We're trying not to have any spread of the virus. It's very contagious. So after we've done the composting, CFI will come and they'll check the piles, make sure they get to the right heat to kill the virus in the barns. And once we kind of get a check mark on that, we can move on to essentially the cleanup process. And that's the process I'm in right now, is essentially the wet clean. So I've been tied to a pressure washer the last few weeks.
Hosing things down. It's hard to know, I expect, but do you have thoughts about how the avian influenza got onto your farm these times?
It's hard to pinpoint our biosecurity is I want to say it's very good, but I want to say in my experience, I kind of think it comes through the air, like through the air vents and different things. I know before, just my experience on farm, every time we've got it, there's been massive winds 4 to 5 days earlier, just stirring everything up in the fields and maybe blowing stuff around. So if just my personal opinion is I think it comes in that way.
Yeah. Well, and how does this land as a kind of loss? These culls and then the steps you have to take to clean up and to get farming again. Like, how big of a loss has that been for your outfit?
It's a loss. It's from experience, it takes about 2 months. Well, it has taken 2 months to get through the process. So I'm hoping to get up and running again in January here. In 2022, we got wiped out actually in the spring when the geese came north, when the migration was happening. And then when we got back up and running again in the fall, when the geese were going back south, we got wiped out again. So in 2022, we actually didn't market a bird. So
twice in a season. Or in a year. Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, it's that time of year where, probably turkey sales are cooking for people. Is there a more significant impact to you, given that we're headed into the Christmas season?
So the birds that I lost were heavy toms, which are the male birds, and we grow those guys bigger, and those will be that protein will be the ones you see in like on a Subway sub, deli meats, that turkey stack at Tim Hortons. That's the kind of meat that was destined for. And I guess like for whole birds and stuff for Christmas and everything, I think our processor and our retailers, they can draw from BC, Saskatchewan, and kind of hopefully fill the gaps.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't necessarily expect to leave this conversation hungry, but your mention of the turkey stack there did it. Do you expect like the avian bird flu situation we're in now to impact the cost or availability of turkeys, or is that we can draw from, a fairly significant pool of farmers going to cover it?
Well, I know like farms themselves, we don't generate the cost at retail, so I'm hoping we won't see a significant price. I hope we don't see any price increase, because like I said, they'll be able to pivot and hopefully draw products from other places. So I'm gonna say personally, you shouldn't see a big increase.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good of you to talk to us about it. And I mean, the impression I'm getting is that you approach these things practically and move through it and get back going again. So I wish you well in that process.
Well, thank you very much. I know my dad his best stories were always the stories when he was getting his butt kicked. So maybe once years down the road, I'll appreciate this and just have a good story.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's something in there too about CBC calls when you get your butt kicked. But anyway, so thanks for taking our call, Scott. Take care.